Sorry. Hey, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for another great webinar. This is part 2. Nick's not on yet. He'll jump on in a few seconds. But right now, we've got Travis Thom, who's an incredibly great friend of ours. And today, he's going to show us Facebook hacks. I've introduced Travis a ton of times. The best way I like introducing him is like this. When I talk to Facebook about Travis, they always say, that brilliant guy that does real estate and Facebook. Yeah, we love that guy. Bring him anytime. So that's Travis. That's the guy I'm talking about. Travis, you want to introduce yourself while I bring on Nick?
Thank you, Tristan. That's super kind. So I'm Travis Thom, and I am the founder of Elevated RM. Hey, Nick.
What's up?
Hey.
Sorry, I was at my day job, which was selling houses.
Right. Yeah, gotta close them.
Sorry, guys. What's up?
We started. He's introducing himself.
Just a quick intro. Yeah, I'm Travis Thom, founder of Elevated REM. We run Facebook marketing campaigns, and I'm a Facebook ad strategist, and we also own a single property website company as well. Right. So today we wanted to cover 3 rules of thumb and 5 ad hacks that every real estate should know. And the 3 rules of thumb, essentially, there's lots of different rules of thumb when it comes to Facebook advertising, and the different things in play there. Some of these are going to focus on lead ads, and some of them are going to be a combination of other types of campaigns. Hold on.
Can everyone see you right? Yeah. Dude, you got the best reception on earth right now. It's beautiful.
Perfect.
So somebody asked, is this going to be recorded? Yes, we're going to be recorded.
All right. If I have the best reception, can you guys hear my cat meowing outside?
We can.
Okay.
We can.
Of all the things to happen, let him in so he doesn't just keep annoying me. Hold on.
Oh, poor kitty cat.
Travis, I don't appreciate this cruelty to animals, Travis. I really don't.
Isn't it an indoor? Don't you live in the desert? That cat should always be in.
Wait a minute. That's not a cat. That's a coyote.
Don't
let that coyote in. But we digress.
Okay. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and dive in here. All right, so 3 rules of thumb. So one of the biggest things that we see is that a lot of people get a little kind of antsy when they first launch their campaign, and if they're not seeing results right away, they're not seeing conversions or the click-through rates or the amount of leads they want, they start to go in and 24 hours later change the ad targeting, or they start to mess with the ad copy, whatever it might be. You really, when you launch your campaign, you don't want to touch it for 3 days. You just want to sit on your hands and don't touch anything, because Facebook is essentially trying to optimize your ad, trying to find the best audience to match with your targeting and your bidding to pull those people in. So you need 3 days to just let it ride out. And essentially the first 3 days, you're kind of losing money. So just be aware that those first 3 days you're running it, it's probably not going to be the most rewarding 72 hours. But then after that, that's when Facebook is optimized, and you can then go back in, and if you have, let's say, a spelling error, or you want to change, a few different things in there, you can switch it up and start the changes. So just a good rule of thumb. Otherwise, Facebook will start to start and stop, and it might mess up your entire campaign. Second rule of thumb: all websites should have the Facebook ad pixel. This is really key right now for a few different reasons. The Facebook pixel, if you haven't installed it yet, please do so, because the Facebook pixel allows you to build retargeting audiences. If anyone visits your landing pages or websites, wherever you have your pixel installed, you can run ads based on the pixel, right? Dedicated to that traffic, and the various different things that it does. Another big thing is Facebook recently, about 45 days ago, updated the pixel. A big update where they added automatically micro data into it. And that micro data is into the actual Facebook graph. So what it's doing is it's pulling information from your website, the actual micro data. So the behavior that people take on your website. Are they clicking a button? Did they scroll, past 30% of the page going down? What other forms did they enter? So it's looking for all this information and aggregating it and sending it back to Facebook to truly just to optimize your campaign so you can get a higher conversion rate. So if it's going to your landing page, it's looking at the exact actions people are taking on your landing page. If they bounce out sooner, what's the load time? What's the actual actions that they're taking? And then they will serve that data back into Facebook to your campaign and optimize the ad in the best way. So Facebook Pixel has been making some big updates and behavioral, updates to be able to really see exactly what people are doing. Make sure you have that installed. That update isn't something that you need to do; is automatically done to your Pixel if you have installed your Pixel. I believe it was past April 20th. To make sure that you have an updated Pixel, go ahead and just check on it and make sure that it's running. Now the third one, 8,000 impressions. You need to wait until your ad has reached 8,000 impressions before scaling your ad. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, they will start to run an ad campaign, let's say a Facebook lead ad, where they're generating leads and they're spending $5 to $7 a day, and then now they've had maybe 1,000 or 2,000 impressions, and they say, I've gotten about 25, 30 leads. I want to get more. I'm going to spend more money on it. Well, if you start to then increase that budget too soon, if you go from $7 a day to $25 a day, but you've only had maybe 2,000 impressions, then Facebook doesn't have enough data. Doesn't have enough data to really optimize your campaign, and it could just go the completely different direction, right? They're trying to find the best prospects in your audience that are going to take the specific actions that you have optimized your ad to take. Let's say for a Facebook lead ad form, for them to fill it out, right? So
Travis?
Yes, please.
In regards to that, are you saying that we need to wait up until we get about 8,000 or over 8,000, so that we have a better reach only, or what else does this do?
So what this does is better, not just better reach, but just a better campaign, because Facebook doesn't have enough data. It's still unstable. So below 8,000, the data that it's pulling in is still pretty unstable. So if you start to add more money to it, you're placing a bet on an audience that may not be completely proven yet. And then they'll start to really push out the reach further, faster, to an audience that hasn't necessarily proved itself just yet within that. But past 8 impressions, then they'll say, all right, we found the perfect audience for you, the right prospects exactly for your ad campaign. And then now go ahead and spend and scale your ad to at $25 or $50, whatever it might be.
Got it. So then once we hit 8,000 and we run the whole campaign and it's awesome, we can then go and turn around and have a lookalike audience, right, after this? Because this one did really well.
Right. If this audience did really well, then you can, there's certain things you can do, let's say with the people that visited that specific lead ad for this campaign, then you can create a custom audience from people that have interacted with that lead ad, that have opened it or opened it and gone through, and then you can create a custom audience from there, and then possibly then a lookalike audience on top of that.
Cool.
Right. Now we've gotten that out of the way. 5 ad hacks. All right, so this one is covering geofencing. And geofencing is essentially dropping a pin, and inside of Facebook in the ad manager, right, in the actual ad targeting, you can drop a pin inside a certain location, and then target that audience. So a specific actual property address, and drop a pin, and then start to develop a campaign around people they're going to be. So this would be, let's say, you're going to target leads based on their geographic behavior. So it might be open houses. It might be new construction developments, and we've done that recently where there's a new construction development of, let's say that you have 700 homes or 1,000 plus homes being built in there. It's under construction. There's some model homes. There's traffic, right? There's actual real people, traffic being driven around inside of these developments that they're looking at these homes. You can take the property address of one of these homes or the development, drop a pin on top of it in Facebook ad targeting, and then get about a 1 mile radius, and then start to segment the audience. People that are interested in buying new homes, buying a house, people that have looked at Zillow, that are likely to move, and that may be, within a certain income range. Those are behavioral habits. Then based on their actual geographic behavior, you're geofencing and kind of circling around them to then actually target and serve up an ad. So once they drive through that development, Facebook is using their geolocation based on their mobile phone and tagging them. So then later on, maybe they go home, they jump on the couch, they open up the phone, then they'll see your ad for, hey, looking for a new home, download the list of all the new construction homes available in your area in this price range. Same thing with like home improvement, right? Some homeowners might be getting their house ready to sell, and they want to, do some new painting, some curb appeal, and spruce up the house. Or they might, be new hardwood floors, whatever it might be. You can target people going to Home Depot that are homeowners and their behavioral habits. So how you would do that is you would.
Travis, can I make a comment?
Please.
So the geo-targeting, is that what it is? What's it called?
Geofencing.
Geofencing. I mean, I find that those are fantastic for just solds, but if you're really consistent with that, like you drop a pin, on a home in an area that you want to farm and then go out like a mile or two, and you target that area consistently with your new listings, your just sold, blogs or just information or videos, whatever the case may be, and you just continuously farm that area on Facebook, it's going to really pay off. I mean, that stuff's just, you're just going to be top of mind all the time for that neighborhood.
Exactly. And then there's a few different ways to do it, right? There's people that are traveling through the area, or people that have recently been through the area, or people that live in the area. So it depends on how you're doing it. But for like Nick, your strategy, like open houses, those kind of things, it's a great way to do it if you tag people that recently are going through the area as well, right, based on their habits there. So this kind of gives you a small breakdown of what that would look like there.
Travis, before you go on, somebody has a question here.
Please.
More of a comment / question. It says Albert Vasquez is asking, regarding geofencing targeting, I feel Facebook is limited. I can't really target down a certain area because it gives me a 1 mile radius around the area, and that's too far out. What do you have to say to that?
I think you can do half a mile, right?
Yeah, it crunches it down just to a mile, unfortunately. That's the tricky part, is that you can target a certain location, and there are some limitations with that, right? Because there is that 1 mile radius that you're.
Well, I think it's doing that because you really need a lot of people to make this work, right? So if they narrow it down to what, a block, how much are you really going to get from there?
If you have some specific data prior to this, let's say you are trying to target then only one part of a subdivision, right, a really small community. And if you have data, let's say from Co-Realty Resource, right, or some sort of data, about neighborhoods, you could potentially create custom audiences of all the areas around that within the 1 mile radius of that certain neighborhood or community, and then create custom audiences and then exclude those audiences from there. However, it is still pretty tricky because there's some overlap, and sometimes the data is not as spot on as it is. This kind of strategy is typically for people that are going to be traveling through a certain area at a certain point in time based on an actual behavior or habit that they're taking that indicates their effective action later on, right? So an open house, if they're driving through an open house area within a 1 mile radius, then that might be part of their work routine, right? That's how they get to work, or they drop their kids off around there. And most people buy within a 12-mile radius of their previous home. So 1 mile, it still sounds kind of big, but in the scheme of things, if there is some overlap and you're carving out the behaviors, though, saying, well, they need to be likely to move, or they're buyers, or they're homeowners. It's really just kind of slicing down behaviors and habits and interests in order to try and get the most specific type of audience that you can. So there's a lot of work into it, and it's not a perfect science, but mainly for, let's say, people taking action based on their geolocation habits.
2 questions, Travis. One, Philip Valika or Valissa. I'm sorry if I screwed that up, Philip. But he's saying, this is awesome. You can use it to target a convention in town, like a new homes convention. But doesn't this get you too few impressions, let's say over a weekend event? To get the 10K minimum that you were talking about from the last webinar?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so the 10K minimum of the ad spend for like a lead ad form.
Yeah.
Well, there's different types of ways to do it, right? So there's to kind of not to get too deep into it, but there's CPM and then there's OCPM. It depends on the campaign objective that you're trying to choose. So if you have a link click ad, that would be going to a landing page, or if like for this one example, right, this text preview, right, we have a short code here, we're using call action as this would be more on reach, which is not OCPM, which is cost per thousand per mile for impression. So it depends on your objective and what you're trying to have happen. But you do want to run that campaign, for a certain period of time and dedicate a budget to it. But really understand is it reach, or is it a link click ad, or is it a lead ad form? The 10,000 rule for audience size is really just more about cost. And so it is going to cost more, right, if you're having an audience that's less than 10,000. But is that going to necessarily be harmful if you do get a buy or a lead out of it that turns into a sale? You have to really figure out your return on investment on that, and just work.
All right, and then Jeffrey Thompson. What's up, Jeffrey? Has a question. When you're dealing with rural America and whole villages, towns, that are only giving you 2,500 total Facebook users, any suggestions on how to maximize this, as an entire county can give 21,000 to 25,000 people only? That was Jeffrey. Jeffrey, my suggestion is to move. Travis, what do you say?
Yeah, get out of that town.
My suggestion would be to be creative with your marketing objective. So I would look at reach as a marketing objective. So when you start a campaign, when I say marketing objective, when you start a campaign in Facebook in your ad manager, you have choices for your actual objectives. You have brand awareness, you have reach, and then you have traffic, video views, lead generation, right, which are Facebook lead ad forms, and then conversions. Well, reach is going to be based on more of getting you the most amount of views, the most amount of impressions. So that, that's going to be more optimized for people actually to see what you're doing. So you may want to have some sort of text code or call to action in the actual ad because you're getting more impressions, right? You're getting more people to see it, not necessarily clicking on it. Ideally, they also will click on it, but it may not be optimized for that. But at least you can target that small area and get the most amount of impressions pretty quickly. So it just depends on what you do. But I would just say use something like brand awareness or reach to be more creative about that, and then use some sort of creativity inside the ad copy.
Great. And one thing I'm going to interrupt you on, only because Nick and I have done this in the past. An anonymous attendee, whoever that would be out there, is asking.
Wait, did somebody submit a question as anonymous?
Yeah, I love that.
They don't want us to know who they are. Okay, got it.
All right. Would targeting expires with ad copy / landing page? Would that, let's see, have you tried selling your home in the past, that type of thing? Or something similar? Do you think that would be too stalkerish? Nick, I'm going to let you answer that because we've been doing it for a long time.
I mean, there's a couple things with targeting expires. I kind of stopped doing it because I actually think it might violate Facebook's terms of service. But, what do you think, Travis? Does it? I'm not sure 100%.
Tell me, I mean, I've been there with you guys when you talked about it.
Yeah, so I think Facebook may have changed their TOS where, like, you can't, you can, but you're not supposed to upload a database that hasn't opted in already with you. So I think that's that might be a gray area. I think I used to be okay, I believe, but I feel like they changed their TOS just to protect some of their users. But
well, the data they're getting is from Redex. So what they're doing is what we were doing, Nick, which is the custom audience, right? Just uploading a whole bunch of expireds for like the last year, then having an ad copy saying, hey, find out why your home didn't sell, right?
Right. I don't think it's creepy. I mean,
I don't think it's creepy either.
I think that people just don't think about whether things are creepy anymore. You know what I mean? I think that
soon as Amazon started following me around with a pair of shoes that I really wanted, I mean, it stopped being creepy at that point. Everybody's doing it.
And it blows my mind sometimes when people think, oh my gosh, I was just on Amazon looking at diapers, and now they're targeting with diapers. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, as long as the only way to avoid that is if you always sign out of your Facebook every time you go to a different website. As long as your Facebook is open, which it is all day, everybody's Facebook is open all day, you're searching. That's why I think, Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, that's why Facebook knows whether or not you're likely to move, right? Because if your Facebook is open and you're searching for homes on another website, it knows that, correct?
Exactly, you're right. It listens to your phone conversations. It listens to your actual conversations via Messenger.
I got you. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it reads your conversations via Messenger. It knows your browsing habits, things that you're looking at in Facebook. So it's, and that's the part of the Facebook algorithm, right? Which is BEAR, bidding, effective action, and relevancy. The effective action part is really understanding what is the next effective action these people are going to take in the process in Facebook, right? Are they looking for a house, or are they going to buy on that? So, to answer that Anonymous's question, is it creepy? Well, I think we have to look at the world today and say that the most annoying thing to most people inside of the web is an ad that's not relevant to them.
That's true. That's annoying.
People hate that more than they actually hate advertising. So an hyper relevant to them is going to be something that they go, oh wow, that's right. I was actually thinking about going to Fiji, right? Whatever it might be. So that's, to answer your question, that's a great question for Nick and Tristan because they've done it a lot of times. But no, I don't think it's creepy. All right, Blockbuster B-backs. So this is a strategy that you can use with video ad retargeting views. So essentially what this is you're going to be running an ad, and Nick, I thought of you with this one.
You did?
Did the whole time.
I am honored.
So with this strategy, you're running a video, and you're ideally, this video is like a community video or market update or just listed property or just sold, whatever it might be. And video is huge right now. Facebook is loving video. You're going to be running a video campaign to a large target audience, to a large market. And it needs to be specific, either fall under some sort of buyer category or seller category, and then so, does your targeting, right, to be relevant to the audience. Now, after you're running this type of campaign, maybe it's gone for a week or 2 weeks, go back and then build a custom audience for people that have watched over 60 or 75% of the video.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
And if people have watched over 70 plus percent of the video, that means that they're interested, and that's kind of your KPI, right? That's your key point indicator that they are a prospect that's probably warm because they've watched all of it, they were interested, and they got to the end.
So Travis, let me ask you a question. My last video that I ran, which was my community video, and I sponsored it, we had about 2,000 views through the sponsored post. So how do I find out who watched over 60% of it?
Who is kind of tricky, but
well, not who, but how do I tell Facebook to target those people?
So you would create a custom audience in your ad manager, and you would then,
it'll just tell me, it'll just target them, basically.
You'd go to Facebook engagement, and then Facebook engagement will then open up to your business page. Then it has a library of videos you ran.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
And then you choose then the video, and then you select did they watch 10% or 50%, 75 or more percent.
That's amazing. Okay, great.
And that's for Facebook posts, right, in your videos, and also then your actual video views. Ideally with this, you would then take that audience and create a campaign to then target that audience with a new ad. And so, if it's for sellers, right, if the original video is more seller centric, then you might want to have a Facebook lead ad that targets that audience. That would be something about, download our market report or a seller's guide or whatever it might be that would be hyper relevant to sellers. And then same thing with buyers, right? Same thing there.
Great idea.
There's a quick little thing about how you would do that. Under video views, that's how you would launch that campaign. I think we're going to give away these slides to everyone so they can have these little shortcut videos that would show them exactly what.
Nice.
Facebook Messenger bot.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. This is why I'm here.
And Nick's going to create a video on this soon, right, Nick?
Well, now I clearly am.
So the Facebook Messenger bot is kind of an untapped lead generation strategy, and it's really been some of the bigger companies have been doing it, airline companies, and now it's really spreading pretty fast. I've been doing it for my business for Facebook advertising, and over 2.5 months now, I believe as of today, I've had over 217 actual conversions where people then convert to talk to me and schedule an appointment, where I'm sending traffic to an actual ad, and then they talk to my bot, has a conversation, set up an appointment, and talk to them. And we're starting to roll this out to a few of our clients and show them. And I've seen a few other people outside, also in the real estate industry, start to adapt and create these. And so it's a great way to engage in conversation and to delight people. So a Facebook Messenger bot, essentially, you're going to create an ad. Well, first you're going to create your bot, and then you're going to run an ad driving traffic to that. And part of the beauty of it, right, is that it answers messages for you. It creates this engagement and this kind of delightfulness, right, of going back and forth, and people want to know, like, well, what's going to happen next? So they keep engaging with it, and it is this really special rapport that you get to curate this environment. You get to curate questions and answers, right, of what people are going to say and do, and then eventually drive them to a conversion to set up a buyer consultation, a seller's consultation, whatever it might be. You can be really playful, or you can be just really kind of more analytical and say, what area do you live in? And they would type it in, and say, all right, here's your market report. Go ahead and download it here. Hey, by the way, are you interested in a home valuation? Do you want to talk over the phone, or do you want a seller's consultation, or are you thinking about buying or selling? And they can then start to build up those that process.
Hey, Travis, quick question about bots. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Not at all. I can't hear anything. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, it's probably better if you can't hear me, right? I was gonna ask about bots. So, two things. You might cover this next, but what would an ideal Facebook ad look like for a messenger call to action, right? That's essentially what you're trying to have them do, right? Like, would it be like, let us help you in real time or something along those lines? And when your bot interacts with somebody and the conversation's over, where do you go to find the conversation? You just go to your business page and look at the recent conversations, or does Facebook notify you in some way?
Great question. So Facebook notifies you when someone starts to engage with your bot.
Okay.
Say, Travis Thom has started a conversation with Nick's bot, and so it'll pop up on your phone. And if you have if you download the Facebook Pages app to manage your pages, it'll notify you via there with a text message.
Oh, okay.
But then you can click on that and you can actually see people in real time engaging with your bot. And then
that's super cool.
So it's fun. It's kind of a fun thing to do, and then you can jump into the conversation and answer some of their questions. But to answer your question, what does an ad look like? Really, I think that the sky's the limit with the different types of call to actions you could really have. But ideally, you want to have them, you want to give them instructions, right?
Yeah.
Tristan?
Oh, good. Thanks, man. I didn't know if you could see my hand. Okay. Lisa Contreras is asking a question that everyone is going to.
I don't know.
Shoot.
Real quick before you. So I'm just trying to figure out, because bots are they're so new, right, to Facebook. I'm just trying to figure out how you would explain in an ad to someone that go to the messenger button. Like, I'm just trying to figure that out, like, what would the type of ad copy be for a buyer or a seller? Like, are you looking for your home? Let us help you in real time. I'm trying to figure out how you would phrase that.
What that might be.
Yeah.
I think you probably want to be, and here's to kind of circle back to it. There's a big competition right now between Facebook lead ads, landing pages, and then messenger bots.
Right.
And each one almost does the same kind of thing in my mind from a conversion optimization standpoint, which is that you're giving away something of value, ideally, right? You're trading information for information. So if you have an ad that talks about download, the latest market report, or how much did this house sell for? Take the quiz. Something like that you're giving them information. So in mine, I give away a video strategy. So you might have something that you're giving away that they click on it, and they get sent directly then to
a messenger bot.
And then
I think running a competition would be great, man. Say, hey, look, guess the price of this home. Message me the price that you're guessing.
Right.
And then they message you, 500,000, 300, and then you're running a competition to see who wins, and you give away movie tickets or something along those lines, but you really engage with people. 4 of the same questions here. Where do you get a Facebook Messenger bot? How do you make one? Travis, can you do it for people? That's what people want to know.
Sure thing. So, so this is Chat Fuel right here that we're showing. And so Chat Fuel, you just go and you choose the page that you want to connect to, and just go ahead and hit, connect page, and then it'll instantly publish that to your business manager. So you log in with your Facebook account, you connect your page, and then you start building. So for this one, Chat Fuel, you're going to start off with a welcome message, and this welcome message is the first thing that they're going to see when they click on the app. It gets sent to your Facebook Messenger bot, and you can add a GIF here. You can add an image, a little video. You can really get pretty dynamic with it. For this example, I'm going to say that this is, let's say, how much did this house sold for? Guess your market knowledge. And then you can use this little type thing here, so it has some kind of human element to it, right? People are going to know this is a bot typically because it's going to have kind of a question and answer thing, but you want some sort of familiar, fun human element to it. So then you would type the questions, like how much do you think this sold for? And then you're going to start to actually have answers that you want to pre-populate. So you have to work a little backwards, right? You're going to have to reverse this a little bit. You probably want to, because it is a decision branch tree, right? So it's a question, then question, answer, question, answer. So you want to develop your questions and have those ready. So this one I'm doing now, this is the answer, right? 245,790. I'm developing the actual answer here, and then you want to be playful with some of your copy. I didn't get too in depth in this one, just kind of a brief example of how you would create it. And ideally, you would want to have a question underneath here, so you can add buttons. As it says, add button underneath here. It would be an image or a GIF to be playful. Might have.
So is this chatfuel.com or chatfuel.co? What is this?
I believe this is chatfuel.com. Yeah, and this is free up to, I think, 100,000 people, and I really sincerely hope that everyone gets 100,000 people. but it's free up until that point. So this one, I have the answer here, and it said, Yahoo, you got it. All right, congrats, you guessed it. And then there's going to be some sort of question answer below that, because you want this to keep cascading eventually into some sort of offer, right? You want it to go and have a decision branch tree. You're kind of getting them. It's almost like a mini funnel, right? You're getting them down until you can finally ask, hey, do you want a home valuation report? Would you like to schedule a buyer consultation? Whatever it might be. After you've promised what you've given them and built up a brief kind of Q&A qualifying question, then you can start to make some of these offers based on their behavioral habits, right, of what they've clicked on. It is a lot of time and work to build it, but it is worth it if you do it right. It's really worth it if you create some great back and forth kind of conversation piece that eventually gets people to convert. A lot of times people are just going to keep interacting with it and keep answering questions because it's fun, right? It's
for the bot, can you add your face to it? Can you add an icon to it? Some people are asking.
So in the bot you can add, so there's text, gallery, if you see here, right, image, all those things. You can add a little photo of yourself. In mine, a little photo of me kind of pops up. You can do a GIF of you, a GIF of someone else. In mine, I have several different GIFs of money being tossed in the air and a guy riding a pony. Maybe at one point. It's fun. So just be playful with it, but err also on the side of keeping the conversation flowing, right? To get to close, right? So make sure that you're providing value. create a good conversation, but then think strategically about what is the content that I'm giving them, and then what else would they want based on them keep answering questions, right? So it's a process, but there's a few different things to kind of take a look at if you wanted to build them. Chat Fuel is one. Mini Chat is another. I think that's also free.
Mini Chat, like mini chat?
Or mini like more. So Chat Fuel. Mini Chat.
Mini Chat. I thought it was like mini me, like.
Mini, yeah.
But no, it's not.
Those two are great to use. And the sky's the limit. Really, the sky's the limit on these. I recently interacted with a bot that was done so well. It was almost kind of freaky. It was promoting a movie, and it was about AI intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence. And so they kept having the bot tell the story of like he's in this laboratory and how to help him out. And it was a really brilliant way to promote this movie. So there's so many ways that you can do it. It's just, it is a time investment. And you just got to think about the strategy that you're going to. Right. So the buyer boomerang, the listing alert retargeting ads. This one is, if you're running a Facebook lead ad, you promoting something for them to download a list of homes, and let's say then you're sending them to your website and you have a pixel placed, right? Then you want to program that next ad, some sort of carousel ad, to then go out and essentially target those people that have visited your website, bring them back. And so this is a carousel ad with a new listing alert. So it's saying new listings, these properties have just hit the market, they're going to sell soon, don't miss out. And it has some beautiful homes in this carousel ad that's going to bring them back to then your property search again. And reason you would want to do this is because it's great to get leads, right? That's fun. And it's nice to send them to your website, but a good majority of the time, they're going to bounce later on, right? They're going to search or see the homes and then leave. And they're looking on average, statistics show, looking at 6 to 8 other websites, right? They're looking at 6 to 8 other competitors during this time. So they're on your other competitors' websites, or they completely forgot about the properties that you saw, or that you showed them online. So you want to bring them back with this ad and keep it in front of them. So that way you can keep nurturing them, increase some sort of brand awareness, but then the carousel ad is also right now really positioned well inside of Facebook. It's getting a lot of preference inside of the algorithm to really show to certain people, and it gets a really high click-through rate as well. So with this, you'd want to target people who have not revisited your website, probably in the last 10 to 30 days. So let's say they haven't come back to your website in the last 10 to 30 days. You can segment that audience inside of Facebook, going after a custom audience under the creation and target those people. And if they haven't been back to your website in that amount of time, then it's time to remind them, right? If they're in that mental phase of looking at homes, you need to bring them back. So you want to use a diverse group of images, architectural, interior, exterior, use a carousel ad, create ad copy that's exciting, that creates some sort of urgency, and then hyperlink that back to your search. Now, I talked about scaling in the beginning, where you said you want to make sure that you don't touch your ads for 3 days before you optimize and then scale. Same thing with 8,000 impressions and then scale. So this one, you really want to kind of ditch the drabs and skyrocket the successful ads and really boost, rocket boost those. So what is scaling an ad? Essentially, it's looking at your ad's performance and understanding what ad is winning. And so that could be the number of leads, how many impressions, click-through rate, relevant score. There's a lot of things to pay attention to, but one of the key things is understanding part of the algorithm, right? So Facebook is going to look for if you've had about 15 to 25 results. So depending on what kind of ad objective it is, if it's link clicks or if it's conversions or if it's lead ads, then 15 to 25 results from that. And then a pretty high relevance score, and then having a reach of 8,000 impressions or more. And then that's when you can dedicate more money to scale the ad. So you can move from, let's say, $10 a day now to $15 or $20 a day, and then really start to push that up, because the algorithm has really tapped into the right prospects. If you start putting more money into it and it hasn't stabilized yet, the algorithm hasn't stabilized, then you're basically kind of betting on maybe the wrong crowd, right? You're saying, well, you know what, now I was targeting homeowners, or I was targeting people that I think are most likely to buy, but I know I need 8,000 impressions, but I scaled my ad from $10 to $25, but I'm only at 600 impressions. Well, now we're targeting a whole different group possibly, because you're spending money on that, and it's going to go the wrong direction. All right, let's see here.
We have a question then while you're switching.
Please.
Tom Lundy's asking, regarding geo-targeting, can I target members of my Facebook HOA that are within the 1 mile diameter?
That are just a part of the HOA?
I'm thinking,
I guess
that's what I'm thinking.
I guess that depends how big your development is, right? I don't see why you can't.
Yeah. If they live in that same community, you could target them. If you're talking about just targeting people only on the HOA, that might be difficult without having a way to segment people that are not on the HOA. And it also depends on the number, right? It depends on the number of people.
Oh, his question, he said, the question should be, can I target groups? His HOA group.
HOA group.
I don't know. I mean, I think you'd have to have a list.
Yeah, from what I know, I think you have to have the actual information for the people you want to target.
Yeah, you have to have their email address or phone number or first and last name, because that's a target. That's a custom audience.
Right. That's a custom audience.
Cool.
Facebook doesn't know. I mean, I'm sure they know, and so I don't think there's any other way to do it other than uploading their info.
I'm sure you'll be able to target Facebook groups in the future, but we'll see.
Right.
So have you seen this graph before inside of your ad manager?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably most people have when they're creating Facebook lead ads. And what you want to look for with this graph, right, really kind of how to decipher it, is if you have a slope, a nice slope about a 36-degree angle, where this ad, inside of this campaign, then it's telling you that the audience and the ad campaign is scalable, meaning that you can really take this from going $15 a day to maybe $30 to $50 a day, and really increase the amount of leads at the same CPA, at the same cost per acquisition, or similar. But if it starts to go flat, then it means your cost per click and your cost per lead acquisition is going to be higher. So that indicates a few different things, which is maybe that your audience is not really sustainable, right? The campaign isn't sustainable. You'll get some leads out of it, but it's not something you can really scale to really skyrocket the success of it. In that, if it is flat-lined or nearing flat-line, then you probably need to go in and take a look at your ad audience, and then your negative score and your positive score. So your negative feedback and positive feedback inside of the custom ad manager. If you start to receive negative feedback, meaning people are actually clicking on the ad and saying, hide this ad from me, that's an actual person telling Facebook to do that, then it creates a negative score and it penalizes your ad. So then Facebook is then going to penalize your relevant score, which is going to then actually hurt your cost per acquisition inside of your campaign. So those are things to take a look at. All right, that's it. I'm done.
Oh, good. We have some questions here.
Okay.
All right, which is better, lifetime budget or per day budget?
That's kind of it's a preference, personal preference, but I prefer daily budget because lifetime budget, I believe, if you, let's say you're running Facebook lead ads and you do a lifetime budget, well, then recently I saw this where someone's running a lifetime budget, but it was only spending $2.25 a day on their campaign. So their reach for that campaign was extremely low, and the campaign really wasn't doing anything, right? They weren't getting any results because you're basing it on lifetime. The benefits with lifetime, the only benefits I really see is going and changing the ad scheduling from saying, well, I want to target people from 9 p.m. to midnight, but no other days. Or I want to target people from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. and then no one beyond that, right? So it's kind of a cost savings for that, but you need to make sure that you have enough budget in there in that lifetime to make sure that your daily spend is high enough to really actually achieve enough reach to generate enough leads. But I personally like daily more because it's a lot more flexible to play with.
Yes, and you mentioned about the lifetime budget and the scheduling on when your posts are seen and not seen. But I think, I agree with a lot of what you just said. For me, I would love to be able to target commuters, right? So I'm in a big commuter area where people are on the train or the bus going from New Jersey to Manhattan, and between rush hour, 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning, and then 6 at night to 9 at night, because they're on their phones on the bus or the train. So that is a great time to target buyers and potential sellers. However, like you said, with a lifetime budget, you don't ever really know how far that reach is going, right?
It's kind of limited, but for your strategy, it's perfect.
Okay. So what do you have to spend for a lifetime budget? I mean, is that something you just is that kind of okay, $100, right? Let's say $100 and I just let it go until I stop it, basically?
Well, so you would schedule the date out. You can schedule a date out and say, for 60 days, I only want to spend $500.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
But it depends then on the audience size. So the audience, you might have an audience size of 90,000, and you say, well, I'm going to do a lifetime budget of $120, and then Facebook will tell you, it'll say, sorry, we need you to spend $285 at a minimum to be able to run this campaign on a lifetime budget to this audience size. But even then, that still doesn't conquer some of the maybe manual bidding or, because Facebook has suggestions of what you should do if you're going to do a manual bid versus automatic. So it depends. If it's working with smaller audiences and smaller, then that's probably going to be easier to play with actual budgeting.
Got it.
All right, more questions here. They're coming in, man. 1, 2, 3. Is it true that if you create an audience in Ads Manager and then retrieve it in your boost, does that decrease your CPM?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So the question is from Mike Keston. Is it true that if you create an audience in Ads Manager and then retrieve it in your boost, does that decrease your CPM?
What do you mean by retrieve it?
I don't know. Well, we'll have him expand on it.
Yeah, maybe he can expand on it.
Yeah, I think he means that. If you create an audience, let's say you're creating an ad and then you save that audience. You save that audience like you're creating a normal ad, and then you go to boost a post on your Facebook page, and then you pull that from the drop-down menu of target audiences and use that. Does it so engagement? That would be an engagement, right? So if you were then to boost that post with that target audience, then that's an engagement marketing objective.
Yes, he says, yes, it's a saved audience. That's what he says.
Isn't that essentially what boosting is for? So you can just easily go to your saved audiences and just let it roll instead of going back into Ads Manager. It's a shortcut.
Right. It's a shortcut, but also from his question of lowering your CPM, so your cost per impression, right, is what that's for, cost per impression, per 1,000 impressions. Recently the game has kind of changed from engagement versus reach with Facebook and Facebook's algorithm, which is always kind of ever changing. But Facebook boosted posts are more engagement, right? Comments, shares, likes, those kind of things. Click-through rates, not so much. Lead ads, you can't do that with that, right? You can't get really sophisticated with it. But reach, you're probably going to have a lower CPM for reach than you would for that. But I don't have an actual test that I would say that it can answer that specifically. I think it depends on your audience and who's competing with you in that area, and how valuable that audience really is to some other advertiser.
Travis?
Yes.
Lots of questions, dude. I don't think we're going to get through all of these. There's a crap load. One I am going to ask you, because I know a lot of people are thinking it, and that's this. Does Travis have a course that he teaches Facebook ad marketing? And if so, what's the information, price? What do you teach? Can you go over that, please?
Sure. So I have right now private coaching clients, and I work as a consultant, Facebook consultant, right? I consult, and we are.
Tell us more.
Right, that's exactly what it is. We're opening up a Facebook coaching group that goes over my strategies and those things, and I plan on opening that soon because I just don't have any more time for any more slots for private coaching. But the group coaching is going to have lots of my training and weekly stuff in depth, really going in.
What's your email address so I can email message everyone here?
Sure. So Travis at leads to, it's the number 2, listing.com. So Travis at leads to listing.com. That's our other company, but that's my main email.
Okay, it's Travis at leads2listing.com. If you need more info about Facebook marketing, right?
Yes.
All right, I just put that in there. I think that's a wrap, man. Nick, anything you want to add, man? There's a lot of stuff.
I mean, we could talk about Facebook all day, right?
We could go for another 3 hours because I think we just scratched the surface, man.
Listen, going forward, I just think all our webinars are about Facebook. That's what.
From now on, done.
Only Facebook.
All right. Well,
look, I just think that it's really you gotta stay on the pulse of Facebook, and they're continuously changing Ads Manager and all the new tools that they're rolling out to help us get business. And honestly, it's still the most inexpensive way to get business. There's no doubt about it. Most inexpensive way.
I think people are asking, how much are you spending a day? I'm spending about $10 a day on average per ad. I've seen people spend more. I've seen people spend a little bit less. How long are you running your ads? About 7 days at a time. How about you guys?
Yeah, I do about $7 to $10 a day for about 5 days for each ad, because I've noticed that after 4 or 5 days, my engagement goes way down. It just takes a nosedive. But I was gonna say that I feel that when you run an ad that's done well and done right, in terms of ad copy, the photo or the video, and who you're targeting, I feel like the leads are much better than they used to be with Facebook. I feel like they're not as good as like a Realtor.com lead, but they are getting really close. What do you think, Tristan?
I think the better we get as agents in the tools that we use to qualify them,
That's true too.
the better the lead becomes, because I'm looking at our lead response for some of these Facebook lead ads be as high as like 55%. That's a lead responding back, and whatever they say, yes, no, maybe, it doesn't matter, but we're keeping a track of it, and it's pretty high. I mean, our portals are about 70%. That's catching up. We're only 15% away.
Yeah, I would have to say that a big part of that for everyone that's watching is offline nurturing and online nurturing. Being text message follow up and video. I know, Nick, you've been doing a lot of that kind of automation and having that follow-up process, which is really key for ad retargeting too, brand awareness, because a lot of these prospects, they're qualified, but they're not ready to buy and act right now. And email goes only so far. So messaging and ads, retargeting ads, keeping going out, for weeks and months. Is really important.
Awesome. All right, guys. One other thing I want to touch on is, for those of you who missed part 1, which was 2 hours long, this one was only an hour. Part 1 is on labcodeagents.com. We put all of our webinars on labcodeagents.com. It just takes about 2 days for us to upload to there, because we have to edit and do other things to them. So visit labcodeagents.com for the rest of the webinars. Again, we have one more this month, and then we restart for the next month.
By the way, guys, if you go to labcodeagents.com, at the very top, if you're on your smartphone, click the 3 bars on the right-hand side, click categories, and click webinars. All the webinars are there. Very easily indexed for your viewing pleasure.
Nice.
Perfect. What was the name of the chat bot again, Travis?
Oh, so there's
Chat
and Mini Chat, Chat Fuel, and Mini Chat. I mean, there's tons of them out there, but the ones that I really suggest that are the powerhouses, Chat Fuel and Mini Chat.
All right. Travis is out of New Mexico. Nick's out of New Jersey, and I'm out of California. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.